faithfully sharing insights and interpreting great books from around the world. Which,
Hi there, this is Sally Book Talk. Today I'll be diving into the book, Winning Back Focus.
in our hectic, fast paced world, a lot of folks have lost their ability to focus. A common sign is not being able to stick with one task, always juggling multiple things at once. Well, say, like when you're on a phone call, but also sending emails or scrolling through news during a meeting, you end up doing everything poorly and making a bunch of errors. If they try to focus on just one thing, they get bored real quick, fidgety, and lose concentration. It's turned into a big issue, plaguing lots of folks. The author, Edward Hallowell, is a well-known expert in attention deficit. He graduated from Harvard and Tulane University's med school and taught at Harvard Med for more than 2 decades. Now, he runs a cognitive and emotional health center in the States focused on helping people deal with attention deficit issues. When we talk about attention deficit, a lot of folks think of ADHD, which is an inborn condition linked to genetics. In his practice, Edward found that many people show similar symptoms due to environmental or lifestyle factors. Oh, Edward calls this acquired form of attention deficit trait. Next up, to make it easier, we'll just call it attention deficit from now on. Edward thinks that in today's world, attention deficit is getting way more common. It clogs our minds with all sorts of noise, making us lose our focus and deep thinking skills. In the book, Edward dives into the environmental causes of attention deficit and shares a bunch of training techniques to help folks get their focus back. I'll break down the book's key points into 2 parts for you. First up, what are the signs and environmental causes of attention deficit? Second, how do we train our focus? Let's start with part 1. What are the symptoms and causes of attention deficit? Attention deficit is a loss of focus that affects every part of life. We've boiled down the main signs into 5 key points. First, not being able to focus on anything for long periods. No matter if it's reading text, having a chat, or looking at a picture, trying to focus for any length of time makes them antsy and bored. Heck, some can't even pay attention for a couple of minutes. The second typical manifestation is internet addiction. Many people have a compulsive need to log on to electronic devices, check the latest online updates, and spend tons of time on messaging, browsing news, and searching keywords. Even if they can't go online for just a few minutes, they get all restless, just like someone with alcohol or nicotine cravings. The third typical manifestation of attention deficit is multitasking, meaning handling multiple tasks at once.
Jumping between various things and ideas without a moment's break.
Plus, some folks handle tasks that aren't even related to them, but because they're too responsible or scared of disapproval, they won't say no to requests, taking on way too much unnecessary work, leaving them with an endless to-do list. The fourth typical manifestation is procrastination. Some people seem busy doing a lot, but really they're just tackling easy, trivial stuff. On the flip side, important work that needs focus and big chunks of time gets put off, making their efficiency super low. The fifth typical manifestation of attention deficit is emotional instability, always feeling anxious and rushed, uncontrollably worrying about bad stuff, and impulsively jumping to conclusions instead of thinking things through. Well, back on top of that, facing endless work and procrastination, they feel stressed and guilty, thinking they're not good enough, which breeds tons of negativity. If someone shows multiple of these signs over a long time, they're likely a victim of attention deficit. The author sums up the environmental causes of attention deficit into 2 points. And first, the advanced online environment. The internet lets us get more info while making it easier to lose focus. If this keeps up long term, it can trigger attention deficit. The author explains the internet's impact on focus from 3 angles. First, the huge amount of online info tempts and distracts our attention. After smartphones got popular, all kinds of apps push news updates nonstop daily, and folks think knowing more is better, not wanting to miss any latest buzz. This slowly trains the brain into a habit of distraction, making it hard to stay focused long term, leading to attention deficit symptoms. Secondly, the internet makes it easier for people to develop negative emotions. A huge chunk of the information we get is negative news: stock market crashes, disease outbreaks, conflicts, disputes, accidents, you name it. There are even marketing accounts online that cook up sensational fake news, and all these stories stir up negative feelings. And negative emotions are the enemy of focus. They make us feel threatened, like we gotta decide right now, fight or flight. All our energy goes into dealing with threats, so we can't concentrate or get things done. This leads to lost focus, then attention deficit. Finally, the internet cuts real connections, making negative emotions even harder to shake.
Psychologists say good human connections give us belonging and intimacy, key tools for handling negative emotions.
But in our online world, we chat daily, yet rarely have real heart-to-hearts or build close relationships offline. This makes loneliness grow, so when negativity hits, there's nobody to talk to. Oh. At this point, people often use the internet to distract themselves, but when someone drowns online long-term to escape reality, they can develop symptoms like internet addiction, loss of focus, emotional issues, becoming victims of attention deficit. A guy named Rice is a perfect example. Rice was an analyst at an investment firm. His main job was hunting useful company data online and turning it into reports. After a few years, he started doubting himself, felt he couldn't meet his boss's expectations, feared he'd never move up career-wise. To escape the anxiety, Rice got hooked online. He'd use work as an excuse to browse aimlessly, even sneaked phone use during company meetings. Rice found himself loving the internet's comfort and buzz more than interacting with people around him, creating this vicious cycle. Over time, Rice showed internet addiction and focus loss, wrecking his life and work, till the author diagnosed him with attention deficit. Hearing this, some might think attention deficit is just a modern internet disease. But the author points out it has deeper psychological roots. Second point, environmental factors are unreasonable beliefs formed in childhood from family. These beliefs make people easily distracted, leading to attention deficit. The author analyzed 4 unreasonable beliefs using 4 patients as examples. Now let's introduce the first unreasonable belief. Only by meeting others' expectations can you be a good child. The author calls the attention deficit caused by this belief excessive sense of responsibility. There's a patient named Kyon. When he was young, his parents were busy working to earn money. With Kyung and his siblings totaling 6 people, his parents didn't give much attention to each child. Kyung hoped to win his parents' approval and attention by being a good child. For Kyung, helping others and meeting their expectations was his way of becoming a good child. If Kwang found he hadn't met others' expectations, he would condemn himself, feel guilty, and have a fear of betraying his inner beliefs. This belief made Kyung, even after starting a family and career, constantly give to others and have a strong sense of responsibility. Kyung is a partner at a law firm. Because Kyung is efficient and sharp-minded, other partners turn to him when they encounter difficult clients or unsolvable problems. The first thing they think of is to ask Kyung for help. Well, he always says yes to others' requests, never saying no. So Kyung became the firefighter, spending a lot of time helping others, unconsciously taking on too much responsibility, leaving little time for himself. Additionally, as a mother, Chong Klang has heavy household chores. She wakes up early to make breakfast for her daughter, communicates with teachers about her daughter's studies, and hosts school auction events. Kwang's life is filled with others' various demands, making her run ragged and forcing her to handle multiple tasks simultaneously.
While cooking for her child, she replies to work emails or her own tasks, but interrupts halfway to handle others' requests.
Through long-term multitasking, Kwang gradually got used to being interrupted, becoming unable to focus on anything for long, always doing one thing while thinking about another. For Kyung, everything has to be done as fast as possible. He uses various methods to speed up work to move on to the next task, so work quality naturally suffers. At the same time, the to-do list never ends, making Kyung feel a lot of pressure. To relieve stress, Kyung started binge eating, and the weight gain made her even more irritable. Every night she'd drink several glasses of red wine before bed, but the alcohol worsened her sleep quality. Waking up groggy and headachy, in turn, made her lose even more focus, creating a vicious cycle. The second unreasonable belief is, if I don't take care of others, I'll be hurt, leading to self-sacrificing behavior. The author had a patient named Mary. Her father had a terrible temper. Tiny things like an empty glass, throat-clearing sounds, or toys left on the porch could trigger his rage, first shouting and cursing, then hitting, kicking, and throwing things. As the eldest daughter, Mary learned young to protect her mom and brother. She'd read her father's mood and call him with hugs or by mixing his drinks. Mary even knew how to control alcohol levels, so her father got drunk enough to pass out without causing scenes. This childhood made Mary believe that if she didn't care for others, they'd hurt her. This belief shaped Mary's generosity and exceptional soothing skills. These abilities brought career success, but at high personal cost. To Mary, others' problems were her own problems. Seeing trouble without helping triggered deep guilt in her. Like Kyung, Mary couldn't say no. She poured energy into others, stayed in constant multitask mode, worsening her mental and physical health until attention deficit symptoms appeared. The third unreasonable belief is life is full of insecurity, causing excessive anxiety. Jack is a fund manager. His grandfather survived a Nazi concentration camp, believing life overflowed with threats, making self-armor against attacks essential. His grandfather passed this belief to Jack. Once, his grandfather had Jack stand on an 8-step staircase and fall backward, promising to catch him. But when Jack fell, his grandfather did nothing, letting Jack crash onto the floor. What? His grandfather used this to teach Jack that life is never safe. Don't trust anyone. These experiences left Jack with intense insecurity and anxiety about the world. He believed that if he dared to relax and enjoy a carefree life, fate would make him fall flat on his face, just like his grandfather did. In a small way, but if he stayed vigilant, fate couldn't hurt him. After becoming a fund manager, Jack made a lot of money, but he was always anxious that one day he'd fail and lose everything. In our online society, this insecurity is easily amplified by the flood of negative news. Jack felt he had to prepare for every possible problem, leaving him with endless tasks and a habit of multitasking. Every day, the moment Jack opened his eyes, he'd check financial news and work emails, spending all his time on work, even unwilling to make time for his kids' school play. Over time, attention deficit symptoms appeared, difficulty focusing, and a quick temper. Jack's anxiety didn't just hurt his focus, it wrecked his marriage too. His wife couldn't stand Jack's cold distance, so she left with their child. The fourth unreasonable belief is persistence leads nowhere good. The author calls the attention deficit caused by this belief mental hopping. The author had a patient named Ashley, an entrepreneur who constantly had fun new ideas, like a treadmill desk or innovative women's underwear. But before acting on them, another idea would pop up, and he'd chase that instead. Ashley felt all these ideas could succeed, but what pained him was that he couldn't make any real. Even when he started a plan, Ashley struggled with details and execution, always distracted and half-hearted. He opened an online shop selling stuff and partnered with others. He started a travel itinerary design company but never fully committed, quitting soon after. The author believes Ashley's distractions stemmed from his mother's influence. She was harsh, often publicly scolding him for being unruly, stupid, and unfocused. At age 10, Ashley set up a soda stand near his community. He decked it out with beach chairs, umbrellas, fans, and a CD player for music. Neighbors loved coming to relax with cold drinks, but his mother thought it was undignified nonsense. So he ordered Ashley to tear everything down, which broke Ashley's heart. For Ashley, the soda stand was his first entrepreneurial venture, and its painful ending made him subconsciously believe that seeing things through would never end well. Now, this gave him a strong fear of focusing on and completing any single task. Plus, Ashley was naturally imaginative, mentally active, and intensely curious. In our info-rich modern world, people like him get easily distracted by constant new things, making sustained focus even harder. All right, let's summarize part one. Two environmental causes of attention deficit exist. First, in our hyper-connected world, we're bombarded by tempting distractions that trigger negative emotions and kill focus. Second, unreasonable childhood beliefs make people prone to distraction, always multitasking or avoiding completion, which, when sustained, causes attention deficit. That covers the causes of attention deficit. Now for part two, how to train your focus. The book outlines 4 methods to overcome attention deficit. First method, master your emotions. Behind attention deficit often lie unreasonable childhood beliefs and their resulting negative emotions, like Mary feeling she'll be hurt if she doesn't care for others, her fear of saying no to people, or Jack believing the world is universally unsafe, leading to extreme anxiety. The author helps patients dissect these beliefs, like showing Jack how his unsafe world belief formed, how true it really is, and what harm it causes. We can try similar self-analysis, ask what beliefs keep us in constant distracted busyness. Where did these beliefs come from? Do they match current reality? We can also test them by acting against these beliefs and observing what happens. For example, Mary could try refusing requests, see if people actually hurt her, or if it brings relief and focus, helping expose the belief's irrationality. Once people realize the irrationality of these beliefs, on one hand, they'll change their actions, no longer forcing themselves to multitask, and then, on the other hand, the negative emotions brought by these beliefs will decrease, and with less negativity, the better we can focus on what's at hand. Besides analyzing unreasonable beliefs, the author also offers other suggestions to help reduce negative emotions and increase positive ones. Here, I'll mainly cover 2. The first suggestion is to discover and enter your work sweet spot. The author categorizes things into 3 types: what we love to do, what we're good at doing, and what others pay us to do. When something meets all 3 conditions, it becomes our work sweet spot. If it meets all 3 conditions simultaneously, it is our work sweet spot. In the sweet spot, people are always happy, fully engaged in work, fully utilizing their talents, making progress, and growing. Outside the sweet spot, workers tend to feel physically and mentally exhausted. There are many negative emotions, like Rice we mentioned earlier, whose internet addiction stemmed from lack of confidence in work, feeling he couldn't do better in his current position. And Boston laughed at this quiet song part. Now, later, he talked to his boss, hoping to change jobs, and eventually Rice moved to the marketing department, which gave him a chance to exercise his creativity, not just collect and organize data.
After changing jobs, Rice underwent a big transformation from an internet addict to a happy and hardworking employee.
The second suggestion is to build interpersonal connections. As mentioned earlier, good interpersonal connections provide a sense of belonging and intimacy. This can make people more emotionally positive and optimistic in facing challenges. The Atlanta Housing Authority lowered the cubicle partitions in the office to promote employee communication, allowing workers to see each other while working. As a result, employee morale and efficiency significantly improved. And so, to have positive emotions, one needs to communicate more with others and build good relationships. We can find a few close buddies at work, often eat and chat together, and help each other when problems arise. Outside work hours, we should have our own hobbies, join some groups or organizations, and regularly participate in sports or public service activities. Also, we should set aside enough time to spend with family. If you live alone, you could also consider getting a pet to help train your focus. The second method is to boost your energy levels. If we're constantly running low on energy, naturally we can't maintain focus. The author suggests improving energy through three aspects: sleep, nutrition, and exercise. First, sleep. Adequate sleep is essential for maintaining energy. Lack of sleep leads to irritability, difficulty concentrating, and memory problems. How much sleep counts as adequate? It varies per person. Try going to bed without alcohol when you're not exhausted and see how many hours you naturally sleep. That's your adequate sleep duration. Most adults need about 7 to 8 hours of sleep nightly to feel energized the next day. And to improve sleep quality, avoid heavy meals and alcohol within 4 hours of bedtime. Avoid TV and phone scrolling before sleep. Instead, try a warm bath to help you fall asleep better. Next, nutrition. Energy levels relate to food. Many feel drowsy and unfocused after meals. This happens because many eat monotonous carb-heavy diets, rice, bread, sandwiches, plus sugary drinks, causing blood sugar spikes. As blood sugar rises, hormone levels like insulin and orexin shift, triggering sleepiness. The author recommends diversifying meals. Replace simple carbs with micronutrient and protein-rich foods like vegetables, fruits, eggs, chicken, and fish. This stabilizes blood sugar, preventing drastic spikes and crashes. Additionally, the author believes fresh foods are healthiest. Buy fresh ingredients from markets and minimize processed foods. Semi-processed foods designed for long shelf life, like preserved or frozen items, have poor nutritional value.
Finally, exercise. Regular physical activity improves fitness and energy reserves.
So aim for consistent weekly workout sessions. If solo workouts lack motivation, invite friends. Mutual accountability makes consistency easier. The third method to train focus is igniting the mind, boosting cognitive function to help your brain get used to staying focused. The author introduces two approaches. First is cognitive stimulation, exposing your brain to new things, regularly facing fresh challenges rather than daily monotony. Doing the same things, our brains naturally focus more on novelty. Tackling new things trains your concentration. One common cognitive stimulus is signing up for courses that interest you, but you've never tried before. A friend of the author's knew nothing about music, but decided to learn piano in his 50s. He described learning sheet music as feeling like his brain was on fire. Now, there are also many top university open courses online covering everything from humanities to astronomy. We can pick courses that interest us to give our brains fresh challenges. Besides classes, gaming is another cognitive stimulus. Strategy games test resource planning, while action games challenge reaction speed and hand-eye coordination, both new challenges for the brain. Beyond that, we can change daily habits. If you're right-handed, try using your mouse left-handed or taking a new route home. And these bring new cognitive stimuli that exercise focus and ignite the mind. The second approach for igniting the mind is meditation, which inherently trains focus. The process is simple. Find a distraction-free room. Sit comfortably, hands on armrests or knees. Close your eyes and focus on your present breathing. Observe your abdomen, rising or falling, or air flowing through nostrils. You'll inevitably get distracted, forgetting your breath to dwell on past or future thoughts. Like work mistakes today or tomorrow's plans, when you notice wandering, gently return focus to breathing. Repeat this focus drift refocus cycle until done. Sessions can vary. Try 3 to 5 minute meditations multiple times daily, or one longer 30-plus minute session. Long-term meditation has extensive scientific research showing it reduces stress, boosts cognition, and increases happiness. For those with attention deficit, practicing breath-focused meditation helps the brain gradually adapt to sustained focus, cultivating calmness and making work concentration easier. The fourth focus training method is building structure. Structure means principles, guidelines, or plans for how we do things. It takes many forms: weekly workout schedules, your work priority system, or company departmental plans. All are structures. Structure enhances control and efficiency. Through advanced planning, we progress systematically for maximum efficiency. Even when surprises happen, we can respond quickly using established guidelines. Without structure, people lack direction. Thoughts and actions become chaotic, driven by impulse or drowned in trivialities, achieving nothing. Classic attention deficit.
Building structure brings order and efficiency to life.
Take Rice with internet addiction. He could build structure to reduce dependence. For example, set no internet hours daily for reading or exercise, or create a boredom activity list. When bored, do listed activities instead of going online. With preset rules, Rice's actions gain direction, helping overcome addiction. For Kyung with excessive responsibility, she needs to reorganize tasks.
At work, Kyung could ask her boss to clarify responsibilities, separating her duties from others. This isn't shirking, it maximizes team efficiency by leveraging everyone's strengths.
At home, she could communicate with her husband to share school event responsibilities. These actions constitute building structure for Kwang. Through new structures, Kyung can clarify her boundaries, excel at her strengths, and maximize value, not drown in trivial struggles. Oh, all right, let's summarize part 2. To train focus, we can master emotions by analyzing unreasonable beliefs, finding our work sweet spot, and building connections. Boost energy through sleep, nutrition, and exercise. Ignite the mind with cognitive stimulation and meditation. And build structure for more orderly, efficient living. With that, we've pretty much covered winning back focus. The author believes unreasonable childhood beliefs create distraction-prone behaviors, and the omnipresent internet further damages our focus. Under these influences, people easily develop attention deficit, losing the ability to focus and tackle problems. We must learn not to blindly obey others, resist external distractions, and become masters of our own lives. All right, winning back focus. That wraps up our interpretation. Find reading notes below the audio. See you next time.